Yeah, I was brought up in Glasgow. I got adopted after my gran when we were about 6. Me and my brother, my 2 brothers and my sister. My mum and dad got divorced. My mum left. My dad wasn't capable of looking after us. So my gran took us. We went to live with her in Bellshill. When I got about 12, I stopped going to school. I started playing truant. I started sniffing glue, drinking at the weekends. This went on for years. I never had any education. I never had any qualifications. It got to 16. I got stupid jobs in community industry and YTS, just £25 a week jobs. But I always wanted away. When I turned 18, my friend asked me if I wanted to go to London. I said, yeah. The next day we went and hitched it. I mean, never had a clue where we were going. Never had a clue what we were going to do. Ended up in London Bridge. From there we went to Victoria. And there was quite a lot of people in Victoria that I knew from when I was a kid, from when I stayed in Scotland. We ended up sleeping in Ebury train station, depots, Victoria train station. Ended up getting into amphetamines. Ended up taking amphetamines. I ended up taking acids. I think it was the first time I injected a drug when I injected amphetamine. That was 1984. So then in 1985, I ended up getting jailed. I got jailed for a street robbery. When I got out of prison in 1985, I went back to Victoria. It was the same, sleeping on the street, sleeping in squats. Then about 4 months later, I went to Blackpool. When we got to Blackpool, didn't even know where we were going to live. I went and seen the social services. And we ended up staying in a shed in a back garden. So it was all right. I mean, it was all right. We could do what we wanted. But the drinking, Blackpool, going there and it was drinking, smoking hash. It was just. I ended up getting jailed again. I let somebody stay with me. And when I let him stay with me, he went and stole my gyro. I was supposed to be going to Scotland at Christmas. And I let him stay with me and he stole my gyro. And I never got to go to Scotland. My granny went and died the next month again and I blamed this guy because I never got to see him and I went and stabbed him. And I got jailed. I got a couple of years in prison. Then when I got out for there, ended up back staying in the shed again. This was 1989. Ended up staying back in the same place, doing madness. Again, I was getting involved with people. We used to sell hash for a little nightclub. I got involved with these people at the nightclub and it was just for one thing and the next thing. I ended up in prison again. Next year I ended up going back to London. 1990. Ended up coming back to London. It was the same again. I ended up sleeping back on the streets. Fighting, violence, and it was that was all the way through school, all the way through them ages, and all the way through my adult ages. It was always that. Taking amphetamines, taking ecstasy, going to clubs, taking ecstasy, being fully all night. Next morning, 4 or 5 o'clock, being in snooker halls and taking Valium and Temazepam for it to come down, coming down for the high. And then about 1994, I went into prison again. When I used to get into prison, I used to have money when I went into prison, and I tried to get a bit of hash when I went in, and there was no hash, and I ended up getting a bit of heroin. It was about 1996. I had an addiction when I came out, and it was just a madness. And 2 years later, I ended up taking crack cocaine. And then it was just all the time smoking heroin, smoking crack. And I got jailed another time when I got out of prison. This girl I was with, we used to share what we had. We used to share about heroin. And it was only 2 days I was in the police station. And when I came out, she says, oh, Eddie, here. So I ended up injecting heroin. And that went on for years and years. Now, I mean, I've not got a vein in my body anymore. I was injected in my groins, injected in this groin. I got DVT in my my right leg. And one day we were in Chelsea, we were on King Road, and it went and burst, and it all started bleeding, and the madness of the drug and how far I was caught in it, all started bleeding and blood pouring out. My pal says to me, he says, Eddie, go to the hospital, go to the hospital. I say, I'm not going to the hospital unless I've got something to go to the hospital with. So he went to Wixton for me and he scored for me. And I went to hospital. When I went into hospital, my leg was like a big melon. And then I ended up in hospital. They wanted to cut my leg off. I signed myself out of the hospital because it was so bad. I ended up injecting on the other side of my groin. I got DVT in my left ankle. You know, and it's with my addictions, I never seen nothing. I never seen any way out of them. I never. So anyway, I was on King's Road and my drinking got worse. My health got worse. My health was deteriorating. But you know, I wasn't caring about me. People used to say I used to get into hospital all the time. Stop, Eddie. Stop. Nah, I mean, and I wouldn't listen to anybody. But I'd trust issues. I'd fear of people. I'd trust through social workers when I was a kid and family when I was a kid. I didn't trust people. So your health's deteriorating. Went to hospital with severe hypothermia, and when I was in hospital, we found out I've got cirrhosis of the liver. My kidney damaged, my lungs damaged. I've got varicose veins with my heart for bleeding. And I couldn't. I went away, so I went away to rehab, and I was in the rehab for like 3 months. When I was in the rehab, I never drunk for all the time I was in the rehab. But then the minute I got back to London, the minute I walked out of the rehab, I went to an off sales and I got 4 cans of beer. And it was the same. I got back to London, I got back in with the same people. I was drinking, I was taking drugs, and just the madness. And in just a little short period of that happening, in about 2 months of doing that, I don't even think it was 2 months, I ended up getting jailed. I ended up getting stabbed in the eye. I ended up getting broken ribs. I got a broken eye. Black eye. I ended up back in hospital. And all that. And somebody said something to me. Said, Eddie, you can't keep doing this. And something. In all years of listening to people saying that, and I was never paying any attention. And you know, and I went away and I thought about it, and then I came into your recovery course, and in the group I was in, and I said, I said, for this day, I'm never touching nothing. Somebody says, Eddie, you can't do that. I say, for this day, I can't. I'm going to do my work. I'm going to do my steps. I'm going to address my issues. But I'm never going to touch nothing. You can't. And I found something that was something deep that was in me. And you know, it was a deep resentment in my mum. You know, I love my mum, but I had a deep hate because I felt abandoned. I felt lost, and I used to blame her for all the way things all happened in my life. I used to blame my mum. And I seen this resentment, and I had to go away and deal with things. And I had to look at what she went through. I had to look what my gran went through to have understanding for myself. I can't blame people for the way I was. You know, and ever since then, I've never touched a drink. I don't touch drugs. I don't want to touch drink. They say, can your addiction go? Can your desires go? Can your desires go? I think it can always be there, but I think you've got the strength through doing the steps to be able to no go back into it. You know, I think I've got freedom with it. I still get complications. I still get problems. I'm able to deal with them. They're more manageable. They're more manageable if I got Jesus in my life. I got baptised in September 2011. You know, and I say I can't manage this on my own. And I got baptised. And since, it's just my life's just went, and I say it just went full circle for gone in that way into destruction. Because that's what he says, it comes to steal, kill and destroy, and coming in to have life. And, you know, I've got a life now. I've got a life today. I've got a hope. I've got a future. And, you know, the steps have set me free to let me be. And, you know, I've been doing voluntary work for the last 4 years. for the last 3.5 years to build up a CV, to build up a portfolio, he never working. You know, I never worked. It was always pleasant, streets, drugs, pleasant, streets, drugs, pleasant. That's what it was when I was 18-year-old. I left Scotland. And it was just all madness that goes with it. So, and I've been helping in the course. I think, for the last 1.5 to 2 years. I was a helper in the course. I've been a co-leader in the course. I've got my girlfriend. I used to go there when I was years and years ago, but that was even madness when we knew each other then. I was into amphetamines, I was into ecstasy. I ended up meeting her then, and you know, she never really took drugs. I mean, I gave her amphetamine back then. That was 1992 or something. But then we lost contact. We lost contact for like 20, no, we seen each other 10 years ago in 2000, but I was still in my heroin addictions. But then I got in touch with her a couple of years ago, about 4 years ago. And she was doing a recovery in Scotland. She's been doing recovery in Scotland. I've been doing it here, and she had problems finding God. She couldn't find this connection with God until I got in touch with her. So I think that's ironic, where like 20 years ago when I was getting her drugs, and then like 20 years later and I'm introducing her to God. But then even sometimes I find it unimaginable where I can share about God. Because 5 years ago I couldn't have done that. Yeah, we got engaged. We got engaged a couple of months ago, last year. I've got a lot of good network of friends. I go help in my church. I like serving in my church on the Thursday. I go do it. I like good serving in my church on the Sunday. I think my granny always, when I was 12, one of my birthday presents my gran gave me was a Bible. And I think maybe my gran might have seen something then. The most important step for me in the recovery course would be, I think, step 2. They're all important, but step 2, that this God, higher power could restore me to sanity, because my life was just madness and chaos. And it was everything to go with my addiction. It was just madness and chaos, the lying, the stealing, the cheating. Just to be able to get this drug, to be able to get this drink. And then coming out of that addiction, you know, I still go and see my pals on the streets, and I'll still sit and talk to them, and I'll think, do you know, this madness, there is a way out of this now. I mean, God is a way out of that. God, accepting the gods. Accepting God. And because Jesus comes with His Spirit. Do you know, how would I describe Jesus coming into me, begging me this freedom, to be taking my addictions? I've used the word before, and I use it all the time, and it's indescribable. You can't say what it is. Do you know it's indescribable? It's everything. He's your friend. When you've got nobody, he's your friend who'll help you. Even when I get struggles and I can talk. And even if it's just like I'm talking to myself, but in conscience, I'm getting feedback after it. I'm getting talked to back. You know, peace. I'm not violent anymore. I lose that. Do I get angry sometimes? No, sometimes, little bits. But you know, I get peace. I get company. I read my Bible all the time. Not as much as what I do, not as much as what I should, but I read it all the time. I get love. Do you know, I said to somebody last week, and I said, you know, I'm coming to your shop, and I'm buying a bag of chips, and I'm walking away, and I'm trusting that these chips are good. Why don't you go try to find out who Jesus is, and just have a taste? You know, I live in a flat now. I've got a nice flat in London. You know, I've got a nice flat. I've got a bed. I've got water. I've got everything I need. I've got everything. Before I had nothing. Before I was just going to death. I was killing myself. Jesus is my best friend. My best friend. I'll put God, I'll put Jesus before anybody, before my relationships, before my friendships. He's my best friend, my company, my companion. Even when I can sit in my flat and I can be on my own and I could go in it, I could feel a bit pity for myself and I say, no, I'll go to my Bible and I'll read my Bible. And it's my best friend.